Okay. Stop! Music dragging the noise! Stop! Spoopy.
Like just worthless.
Thanks for joining us again on Deformed Theology. I'm Jonathan.
I'm David.
And man, we're joined by Mike from Mike, I didn't even ask you. Mike or Michael, which do you prefer?
Michael's cool.
Cool, Michael. All right, I'm sorry. We've been saying Mike just to shorten it up, and we've been in go mode. So Michael from Convictions, lead singer, Michael Felker. Man, so awesome to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we've been fans of the music, and then we caught you for the first time live last October in Lawrence, Kansas at the Granada.
Yeah.
Dude, killer show, man. It was just like, oh, dude. And what a lineup for that show, too. We won't give the other bands any credit. It was all Convictions.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, and I think next month, you for sure bought tickets to see next month. I've got to check the schedule.
Soon, a couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah. So, man,
with Wolves at the Gate?
Yes.
That's nice.
On March 18th in Lawrence, Kansas. Oh,
back at Granada.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Bottleneck, actually.
Oh, at the Bottleneck?
Yeah.
Oh, never been there. Now I might have to buy tickets.
See?
I got to clear the schedule.
It's going to be good.
Don't get I'll tell my wife. Don't worry about it. Yeah, before we caught the show last time too, oh man, now I'm going to lose his name. We met your drummer when we were grabbing dinner. Zach?
Yep.
That's what I thought, but I was like, oh no. This is Zach. I'm going to say Zach, and he'll be like, no, dude, it's Jim.
Eerie.
Yeah. He's going to be so mad at you. No, he's a super cool guy, right? He chatted with us for a little bit. We were like, man, we know you're getting ready to perform. We don't want to bug you. Just want to say hi. And my son that you met before the show here, he's an aspiring drummer. And so he probably spent, 10 minutes talking to Charlie or so. Just really cool dude. So we really appreciated that. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's really cool. So, man, all right. So let's dive into some things, but let's hit you with one question off the top. Okay. The classic
question. So you don't have to just from the hip. All right. From the hip.
My favorite color is green.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So this is just an icebreaker question. Growing up, in church in the 90s, like Jonathan and I, everyone was talking about the rapture. I mean, it used to be kind of a big question in the church, and we used to talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
So we kind of hit every guest with just a general question, like, do you have any thoughts on the rapture, like pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib, when Jesus comes back, all that kind of stuff? Just in general, do you have any thoughts? And if you don't, that's cool too. And a lot of people, kind of shy away from it, and that's fine. But we just kind of like to break the ice because this is a theology podcast.
Yeah.
Michael, what's your thoughts on the rapture? Do you have any? Jesus is coming back.
Yeah. Well, they say, it's like a thief in the night. So like, we're not going to know, so it's hard not to like roll your eyes when, there's some world event, and you're like a war sparks or something, and someone, here it comes, this is it. And then you like look at the date, and like that was filmed in like 1960, so like I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about that. Like it's hard not to like draw parallels, but like it's written, like we're not gonna know. So I leave it at that. And
fair enough.
If and when he comes back, I'll that'll be exciting. Like
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. So now I was reading, and I never done this. I don't know, it's not like the old days when you had a CD and you'd open it up, you'd pull out the paper and read about the band and all that stuff. And I was like, dude, I've really never read your guys' own description of your band. So straight off of iTunes, hope Apple doesn't sue us and take the nothing that we have. So you guys do describe yourselves as a Christian metalcore unit, and you guys are out of Ohio, and specializing in aggressive worship music. I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
that.
It's a bit of a moniker we coined. And I think it explains what we do really well. Yeah, that's accurate.
I love it.
True to form. Yeah, that got me a little excited because, well, what I do in the weight room is not worship, probably. But I guess now when I have convictions on it, I'm in the weight room, I can be like, I'm just worshiping while I work out. Don't worry, it's just a little aggressive.
That's
So
great.
I have to hit you though. I don't know if you prepared for this or not, but my top 3 tracks are actually 4 because I couldn't make up my mind. I mean, of course, Metanoia.
Yeah.
Like, dude, love it. Stigmata. I mean, that goes without saying, right? That's one of the bigger ones. 4 Horses.
Oh,
Yeah. And then, now I forgot my 4th one because my notes didn't cross over here. Dude, yeah, forgive me. So my 3 is 3 then, I'll give it that. But my favorite crossover or like collab with you guys, I mean, sure. I've got to give Danny and the boys of No Treaty, or formerly of No Treaty, credit there with Monolith. That was a great collab. But oh my gosh, Confessions of a Traitor.
oh,
Oh man.
heck yeah, yeah. Those guys rule. Yeah, it's funny. We talk to those guys like every day. We have like a band group chat, and they're all in England, so I'll get all their messages at like 3 a.m. and I'm like, oh, yep, the Coates boys are up. But yeah, they rule, and that was a fun song to write.
Oh, it was, yeah. And I was really shocked when I learned that you had writing credit on there as a collab. And I mean, I'm not a musician of sorts. Is that a pretty normal thing? If you're going to collab, you help write?
It's case by case. With them, it was pretty hands on. We had already toured extensively together. It was actually like one of our first encounters. I was driving for them. Like we had like 2 vans at the time, and they like rented our old van, so I drove for them because I was nervous. These dudes are from England, so they drive on the wrong side of the road, and I was like, let me take you out, like, well, let me do the first stop at least so you can learn the ropes. Long story short, we ended up talking about like what is the Christian world like in the UK, and what highs and lows are, revolving that. And he basically went on to talk about their version of church hurt, but theirs is much like longer and deeper with like the Protestant Catholic Church and all that. And a lot of like rebellion against it with like the younger generations. And I was explaining church hurt, in Western culture, and we kind of met in the middle on that topic. And then I was like, we should write a song about this. So started with that, and then I ended up writing some lyrics. I helped write the chorus. So yeah, it was quite a journey. It took like a year to write that song.
Oh wow,
dude. Yeah, well, and I realize my 4th/3rd is in no particular order. The Fear of God. That song is killer too.
You like the heavy stuff.
Yeah. Well, especially because I'm either driving in traffic and I'm already angry, or I'm in the weight room. So I wanted to look at the lyrics to Hail Mary if we can take just a minute without me playing it audibly here. Because I don't know if you've heard that one.
No, not that one. No.
Okay. Hail Mary, full of grace, I must reject your embrace. In shadows of stained glass, I knelt to pray, lost in a world where innocence is the price to pay. The body count rises all before his eyes. You protect yourself with God's name. With these crooked lies you proclaim, do you have no shame? Hail Mary, full of grace, I must reject your embrace. I loathe guilt you made me feel inside. There's no salvation your prayer provides. I'm like, oh, that had to ruffle feathers, I would think.
Sure did. We got a lot of hate mail for that, or at least Steve and I did. But like, I guess that's kind of the unique angle we have with metal. Like it's kind of in this dark cloak, and it's I guess like when we write songs, like or at least I don't know, my corner of the Christian music scene, I guess you'd put it. We have a unique opportunity because we're like, it's that first impression, like you read those lyrics, it's like, oh, this is a satanic band. Oh boy, you hear the music, you hear the screaming. Oh, this is dark. Well, that's going to attract a lot of people that already like live in that space, but also like open the door to curiosity, I feel like, and what like the reason he's saying that and the place that he's coming from when that was written. Um, it's really liberating to be able to like be that vocal about it, you know, like not everybody has like a walk in the park experience with Christianity. You know, he was talking about abuse within the church and sexual abuse in the Catholic Church and you know, really heavy topics. And you might not catch that on K Love, you know, like tuning in for the first,
Right.
traffic stop or whatever.
Yeah,
So
and but see that you hit the nail on the head there, because every time I've gone to a Christian metal show, okay, uh, you meet people outside that don't even realize that they're going to a Christian metal show. They're just there for metal, and then they're in there getting around Christian people. Because
Yeah.
I've been in non-Christian mosh pits, and you can tell the difference. There is a distinct difference between going to, see you guys or War of Ages or Wolves at the Gate and being down there on the floor versus, okay, confession, it's going to date me, and it's also going to like the first Family Values tour in 1998 with Korn and Limp Bizkit and Rammstein and all that. Yeah, that floor scene looked a lot different than you can tell, but it draws people out. And like you said, it's getting people that are into the music scene, into
Right.
that vibe in there to, I mean, are you always standing up there with a Bible in your hand and preaching the gospel directly? No. It's not like that. But they're getting exposed to the gospel in some form or fashion, right? And then again, being around other Christians in there. So I think it's an amazing opportunity that you have. And some guys, War of Ages, he took a huge stand last year when we saw him. Like,
Yeah.
he did the first time we saw them also, though. Leroy, bad with names tonight. I forgot Zach, forgot Leroy, right?
no, those are both the right names.
Right. I had to get the brain working here, but yeah, I mean, Leroy stands up there and does a little bit more actual direct preaching, right? Which is rad, but that's like their thing, right? Is we're going to go deep in it, right? And but you see, I mean, Demon Hunter, okay,
Yeah, it's more
Ryan,
artistic, right?
yeah, Ryan doesn't ever get up there and spend a lot of time going in John chapter 3. Jesus clearly says here, right? But when you hear the music and you're in it, it's like, wow, man. So it's like each one's got their niche, if you will, within the scene, but you're drawing people that are never going to step foot otherwise inside of a church without hearing or seeing or being around other Christians. So that's good stuff. If you do start preaching, that'll be cool too.
Yeah. No, I think like being put in on a platform like that, like it's a lot of responsibility, and you have a tremendous opportunity to influence, I guess, and it's like, what do you do with that 30 minutes that you have up there?
Right.
Convictions were not necessarily like I don't believe like we're put there to like, do any fire and brimstone, Bible thumping, but I do try to make it clear that like we're also not afraid of what we believe or to like share that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean the lyrics though speak louder than the music really does if you're really hearing and seeing that. But let's talk about the band real quick, Michael. Start with you. What kind of, I'll say theological makeup, but like what kind of denominational tradition background does everyone come from?
It's non-denominational.
Yeah.
So yeah, we mostly just focus on the messages and relationship with Jesus, and that's as broad as I can put it.
Hey, that's why we're all non-denominational.
Yeah, we're non-denom guys
It's
here.
about Jesus.
Yeah.
It's all about Jesus.
For sure. Well,
Yep.
so yeah, take us back. You formed the band in 2013.
I did not. The band was like kind of already in its like early stages. I want to say as far back as like 2018. Different lineup, different guys. Zach, our drummer, the one that you met, had dinner with. He's always been in the picture. The band put out an EP 2012 called I Am Nothing with another screamer. They did a national tour with this band you might remember called The Great Commission.
Okay.
And it was like pretty much right after, like a couple months after that record came out, parted ways with their old vocalist, and I got a call from Zach. So I can't say I'm a quote unquote original member, but I've been here like the whole time, just about.
Nice.
Um,
So what brought you around to it though? Like we've all screamed. But at what point did you go, man,
This is what I
actually
want to
good
do.
about this. I'm good
and
with
I'm
this.
good at it. Yeah.
man, I don't know where to start with that. I accidentally found out I could scream when I was 15. My brothers were learning how to play their instruments. I had fallen in love with metal. We talked about making a band together, and I did that for quite a while with my brothers. And then we would go out and play shows, and Zach's old band, we would cross paths, so we kind of like brush shoulders with each other for a little bit. But I didn't become a Christian until I was 19, so I'd already been playing music for like 4 years or so, and it was just kind of a divine intervention. I like to think of it, because I had like just left, or like kind of in between bands, like starting to discover my relationship with God. And then it was like within like a 6-month window when Zach gave me a call and asked if I wanted to audition.
Nice.
Right on.
Okay. So you came to Christ at 19. You mind sharing your testimony with us?
Sure. Yeah. I was brought up in a like non-religious family. Some of my family is finding God now. But it wasn't until like, I don't know. I was, like 19. I was like devout atheist. Like I was going to house parties trying to, have these debates. And I was really into this documentary called Zeitgeist and Religulous. I thought that was like that shook me up. And it was like really liberating to like say, okay, like there's no God, like it's just me against the world, like I can walk through this however I want. It was really like exciting, and it was kind of like finding out Santa isn't real. It was just like big epiphany in my teenage years. And yeah, I was really like driven to like try and debunk people's faith, and it was pretty dark. Like I kind of spiraled out. I had a lot of like suicidal ideologies, I guess. Like I was really like wanting to die, and it got really dark for a period, and I was trying to figure out how to get out of this mess, whether I'm going to do it. There was a few failed attempts, and I tried everything, like trying to get on medications or talking to therapists, and there's nothing wrong with that. I fully support those things. But my brother was interning to be a pastor, and he's really smart, like really, really smart. And I was just like, dude, like, how can you believe in this stuff? Like talking snakes and, cherub angels, and like, what are we doing? I mean, like, grow up. It was just like this real down to earth, like, kind of conversation. And I was expecting him to fire back with all these, oh, well, it says here, and this is the evidence of that. And, but he was like stumped, and he went off and did his own personal research and came back to me and brought that to me. And it was really powerful. And it was at that right time where I had nothing else, and someone handed me a Bible, and I didn't really believe in God. So it was like, all right, God, like, if you're real, get me out of this mess. Like, what do I have to lose if I don't believe it? Like, who cares? So he, he later showed up and moved my life in such a big way that like I think back about it all the time. I was working security as a little security guard, and I was parked by a dumpster, like hiding in the corner, like waiting to catch somebody doing whatever. And it stunk. It was dirty. And I had just been like skimming through my Bible, and I was like, you know what? Yep, I'm on board. I believe it. And then it was like, yeah, couple months later, convictions calls, and they're like, all right, let's go do this. And it was just like, oh, all right, here we go. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's been a journey, man.
And that's to think about, the teenager that thinks that they know it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a teenager and I still think I know it all sometimes, but yeah, you're searching, you're looking, and it's so easy. It's like the easy path to just go, yeah, nothing exists. There's no standard. There's no accountability to it. It's like it takes more faith to go out and go, this all happened by accident, and there's no code by which I have to adhere. There's no standard or accountability to it. It's all an accident. But then seeing the fruit of that for you, that was just like a dark place of depression and suicidal thoughts and things like that, and attempts, even, you said, like, that maths, as the kids say, right?
Yeah, and it's great, just another great testimony that we hear of just the power of God's word, man. We don't have to have all the answers, but God shows himself in his word, man. Even if it's just like his love and his patience with us, and how just reading his word, you can encounter the God who is there.
Yeah.
In his word, and you can be convinced that he loves you. And that's grace, man, And it's just another reminder to us, just hearing your testimony, Michael, like God's word is sufficient, and none of us have to be experts or educated or anything, but if we'll just take him at his word, that we can find out how much he loves us and how much we need him, and that's pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Great
No, it's one great thing about being able to do what we get to do is go out in the world and kind of put your boots on the ground, and we meet all kinds of different people with different walks of life and experiences with or without faith, and seeing how it all kind of works together. It's like it makes God like way more real, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, and it's something I've been thinking about lately, and just along the lines of testimonies. I mean, we all have a testimony. I teach Sunday school, and I tell my students, like, whether you like it or not, we're all theologians because we all have some thoughts about God. Like if you've got a thought about God, then you're a theologian. Now, how you compare to yourself to others, all that kind of stuff, that none of that really matters. But everyone has thoughts about God, and we all, that's like that one thing that everyone's got. I might not have all the answers, and lots of people might disagree with me, but what Jesus did for me and how I encountered his grace, that testimony, like, I've got that.
Yeah.
And so everyone has thoughts about God. And again, like kind of we were talking before, pre-roll, how what we're doing here on Deformed Theology is just finding those places in our thoughts, the way we think about God. How is that, what are the things in our world and our culture, maybe our habits or our traditions, heck, maybe the church that we go to or churches that we've gone to in the past or whatever, like what are the things that have shaped the way that we think about God? And that's kind of what we're looking for, on this project. And so just wanted to give you, an opportunity, Michael, if you want, to share any thoughts that you have. Like, what do you think are some things that might be affecting or deforming, the way we think about God? What do you think? Any thoughts?
Is this like when you're saying like deformed, or is this like a challenge or like a negative thing or a
The
positive
things
thing?
that are warping
Yeah.
our sensibilities of right,
Like
warping right thoughts.
I'll give you a for instance. We've heard a lot last year. A lot of guys sharing how they thought that a lack of discipleship and relationship in the church, that lack is deforming the way we think about,
Yeah.
God's people. So that's like a for instance, so yeah, anything along those lines, anything that stands out to you?
No, yeah, that sticks out. I mean, earlier when I was talking about like church hurt and things like that, when I hear, these terrible stories of abuse and corruption within the church, and this being like the reason why, a young person or whoever we meet behind a merch table, that's why
Yeah.
I'm not a Christian anymore, and
Yeah.
it kind of puts you in a bind because it's like I want to shout like, well, that's a person, that's not God, and they're doing a terrible job. They're human, they're flawed, or whatever, but it's not God, and it's like it kind of pulls on your heartstrings a bit. You want to kind of be like, no, like they got it all wrong, like, but
Yeah.
I feel like living by example has been so powerful. Like it really like warps or deforms, I guess, like your
Yeah.
traditional like discipleship or evangelist, like trying to your very best just to walk it out and to meet people at eye level has been the most fruitful, I feel like, for my experience, like with music, making music that sounds demonic. Like, I feel like that like really like kind of shakes things up. But I don't know if you want to like ask me about something like negative or that I've like learned about God recently, like that kind of warped my view on it was on that same tour that we met at.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I spoke on it on stage or if I said anything to you guys personally, but it was like I think a couple days before we had met. My girlfriend had found out she had cancer and had this dramatic surgery where they removed these organs, and it was life threatening, and it was such a difficult time, and then being told to stay out on the road and continue my work while I wanted to just get up and leave. Um, the quietness that I experienced from God and like the distance was like extremely overwhelming. It was like,
Mhm.
where are you, dude? Like I, you know, it was
Yeah.
heavy. And coming through that, like now that things are so much better, it'd be easy to think like, oh, like he was there all along, and he was. But I feel like there was a certain like Job experience where it was kind of
Mhm.
like, okay, Mr. Frontman Christian metal dude, you're up here showboating about how great or God is. Uh, how about now? And it was like really hard, and it was like the last thing I wanted to do. I wanted to be angry at God. I wanted to run away. I wanted to leave the tour. I wanted to, you know, and it was that quietness. And I know now that it was like him strengthening my faith and really trusting him. I think that kind of like like to have true trust in God, like when a life is on the line, like it's not something I thought I would experience or wanted to experience, I guess, or at least this early in my life.
Yeah.
Um, and you can't really like slap a slogan on that, like yeah, there's scriptures that you should read and take to heart, but like it was like a true walk of faith, I guess. And
Yeah.
that really like changed so much for me.
Absolutely. Man, that I got to tell you that really it speaks to me because and I can share personally my wife and I we walked through a season when we were starting off having kids, and we've got you know our kids are teenagers and older and growing now, but when we were starting out, we miscarried twins, man. And I have a twin brother. And you talking about like opportunities for Christians, right? Opportunities for believers to be offended with God. Like when life sucks, man. Like when something comes out of the blue, and there's no other way to put it. It just sucks. And for us, I mean, we just went, showed up at the doctor's office for a normal checkup visit, and our oldest son was with us, and we were supposed to hear like the heartbeats, and the sonogram tech comes in, and again, we didn't even know like there was twins, but the sonogram tech's like, I'm sorry, we can't find the heartbeat. Your babies, they're already gone. And like that, in that context was when we found out that we had twins, and it destroyed me. I mean, it destroyed me. And I remember the next month, 2 months going through this season where it was like, I'm numb. I don't feel anything. I don't hear anything. I don't want to. And it was tough, man. And I remember, praying, going through that. And I was like, God, I don't even know how to pray.
Yeah.
I just had to be honest and be like, God, I literally don't know what words I'm supposed to say. And Michael, I'm telling you, what I heard the Holy Spirit tell me. He said, that's okay. And he said, you just pray when I give you the words, just use those words. But until then, it's okay. And what I heard in that moment was God saying, like, I'm here with you, and you don't have to understand this. And God didn't care how upset I was. He was still reaching out to me. And it's those times when it's a little opportunity to be offended. And I can, and when we go through those things, we can be like, all right, I could let that deform the way I think about God's grace. I could be like, well, God, this isn't fair. And God's like, I know. And he can actually talk about what's not fair, like his innocent son dying for me, a sinner, and that's a heavy thing, right?
Yeah.
But those little opportunities where life sucks and we don't know what to say. And I think all of us have to walk through that at some point where it's like, yeah, if I let it, this could deform the way I think about God. Or when he brings me through that place and he reminds me that, and this is the thing, dude, I know I'm kind of like taking some time here, but now I'm talking, now I'm telling the story. So I got to kind of tell the whole story.
Run it.
Like 2 months before that, my cousin, he told us, he's like, hey, I had a dream that you're having twins. And up to this point, we were like, no, that's kind of cool because I've got twin brothers. We're like, okay, well, it's easy how, somebody, wouldn't it be cool if you had twins? Because, twins, having twins, that'd be cool. And we just kind of were like, oh, that'd be, kind of neat and stuff. Well, when we found out that we had twins, but they were gone. And then God reminded us of the dream. And Greg, my cousin, it destroyed him, dude. He came to us and he was like, what am I supposed to do with that? Because I had the dream. Like I knew God told me you were having twins and now they're gone. And I got to tell you, I had to work through that. But what the Holy Spirit showed me was like, he saw them in the womb. When we didn't know, the doctors didn't know yet, God saw those babies in the womb. And he was I just wanted us to know that he saw them. And when I understood that, and it took some time, man, it took some weeping my way into his presence and being like, this still sucks. This still hurts. Until I heard him say, I saw them and now they're with me. I gotta tell you, man, that was tough. That was a dark place, but coming through it, seeing God's patience, his patience for the long process. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Coming out of it, my wife and I, like it deepened our faith. It deepened our appreciation, not just for God's goodness, but for his patience when we're hurting, So anyway, that'll get off my little soapbox there, but
Well,
I digress.
I'll
God is good. I
lighten it.
digress.
Yes, yeah, yes, amen. I'll lighten it a little bit. I was just thinking about when you're talking about the people coming to you at the merch table and things, and that's why I love small shows. We were talking before, like going to the venues that are the Granada in Lawrence or whatever, because you get a couple hundred people in there having a good time, but the bands are at the merch tables. And so in your scene, dude, you just being there at that merch table to let people talk to you like that, bro, you're in ministry.
Yeah.
Like
It's a two-way street too. Like, and I don't think people really get to see that or hear that. Like I was telling you about my experience on that tour. Like, I was broken, I was scared, numb, angry, like just a mess. And just being behind the table and talking to fans and a lot of people that share my beliefs are saying these things that are so like fulfilling and encouraging, and the prayers and stuff, like I needed that too. And it was funny because my band was so like so good to me on that run. They were very gracious, and it's always my responsibility to do merch right now. Like, we'll probably hire people to help do that, but for that run we didn't have somebody, and they're like, "Hey Mike, we know that's your thing, but like we'll do it." And I was like, "No, like I need to do this." Like, and just having people pour out on, like into you like that was like really special. And it went both ways too. There's people that were asking for prayer, and I didn't tell them what I was going through. They were telling me about some difficult things they had been going through, and I was praying over them, and it was just weird. Like I'm helping somebody, but I should be having the help, but somehow me helping is helping me too. Like, it's funny how that works.
That's church.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you're going through a time, I've always found it, and this is wise old man wisdom, right? When you're going through something negative, the surest way through that is encouraging others, finding another, intercessory prayer for somebody, or just being there for somebody else. Man, that can, and you saw that firsthand on that tour, right? It's just like, wow, I'm getting fed off of being there for other people that, they're just coming and going, cool, one of my favorite bands. I'm going to tell them everything I'm going through because his music speaks to me. And then you get to be there and minister to them, dude. And again, people that, this is what, the other thing I love about that scene is, and people that won't come in here. Yeah. People that, I say in here because we're in our studio at our church right now, but right, like people that on a Sunday aren't going to walk to a church and go, yeah, you know what? I should probably go to church today. That'd be great. No, you may be the only person they ever hear Jesus from. And it, like you said, you're not Bible thumping up there and preaching fire and brimstone, which, well, see with last week's episode. I think we talked about Brother Jed last week, didn't we?
Yeah,
Evangelism. Okay. The fire and brimstone preaching. Save that for Sunday school. And, but yeah, man, you're in the ministry, and that's such a cool thing with it. I wish K-Love would play you.
That would be something.
We could talk to Dan and Michelle at Air One and maybe get them to put.
I probably burned that bridge earlier.
No,
that's fine.
We've had Dan from the Dan and Michelle morning show on from Air One.
Yeah,
great guy. And I was like, pre-show, him and I were talking. I was like, I got to be real with you, dude. I don't listen to Air One. He was like, no, I get it. And I was like, I don't like contemporary Christian music very much. And he was like, oh, we don't play contemporary Christian music. I was like, what? He said, yeah, 2020, it shifted, right? What they only play worship music. So now that we know that you are aggressive worship music.
There it is.
Dan, I know you're watching, buddy. We need convictions on the morning show.
Categorically, it works.
I'll definitely spark some adrenaline in them.
Yeah.
On our way to work.
Yeah, that was another one from Stephen Curtis Chapman. Now, next up is Convictions.
On
That would be the day.
on the topic of merch, I gotta say, at the last show there at your table, I picked up one of your T-shirts with the St. Peter's cross on it.
Oh, boy.
And when I saw that T-shirt, I was like, "Oh my God, so powerful!"
Yeah.
I mean, like, I understood the context. I
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I'm fairly well read. I understood the context, and I'm looking at it, and my like pulse is quickening. I'm like, "Ooh, this is spicy. It's a spicy T-shirt." But I'm serious, man. I've never seen a more poignant and like specific statement on a Christian of any type band T-shirt
Yeah.
than that T-shirt with, you know, the upside down cross and then "I am not worthy," you know, Saint Peter. And like when you know the story, like it's
Yeah.
is so good, man. So
Yeah.
I couldn't let I had to say, man, props to you guys, because that shirt rocks and the message is so strong. I don't know if like I don't know how you guys decide like on designs or like how you guys work through that. If you are working with
It's
somebody,
mostly Zach and I.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So can I ask like whose idea was that?
I don't know, because like I had an idea of it, and we argue about this, so I won't take credit, just for the record, but I had thoughts of it because there's a band called Dream on Dreamer. They're still around, and their singer, I don't know what his beliefs are, but he had a shirt that had a upright cross and an upside down cross on it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, is that like equal out or what is that? And like I remember thinking about it, and I was like really interested in it, but no, like we talked about the true meaning behind it, and we had an EP out called Unworthy, and we actually say I am unworthy at one point. So like we had already been kind of thinking about it, and it was like really scary and provocative when we were deciding on it, and we went for it. And that was like 10 years ago, and we still like get a lot of people asking about it, and interested in owning one and things like that. And it's so funny how many Karens we get, like these Christian
yeah.
Karens, like you better, and
Well,
lady, read it.
yeah, read it. It's so thought provoking. I was telling my brother and I were talking about it because him and I are both, you know, creative in that sense. We enjoy talking about, you know, art. We appreciate, you know, the creative process and this stuff. So we're looking at this T-shirt, and I don't know if we can maybe splice in a picture of the shirt.
I'll do
throw
my
it
best.
up. Note to editor, you know, slide in the shot of this shirt, and so the viewers can see what I'm talking about. But on the front of the shirt, it's an upside down cross, but it's brush stroked,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was telling Nathan, my brother, I said, dude, check it out. It's not an inverted cross. It's not like a wooden cross that's been spun upside down. It's a purpose brush stroke. Like someone came, like think about an artist coming up and going whoosh, whoosh, to make a singular point about the position of St. Peter's cross. I was like, this isn't an inverted cross. Like just that level of creativity in the concept of the imagery is so good. So anyway, I geek out on that stuff, but props to you guys. I love the design, and it's super powerful. And in the comments below, people can let us know what they think.
No, we love hearing the stories.
If you know the story, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, we love hearing them. Like we get a lot of like, random emails or, whatever, where I was in a Wendy's and this old lady was really mad at me, and then we sat and like talked about Jesus for like an hour. It was amazing, like just because of the shirt. And they're like, "Thanks for putting that out," and I'm like, "Oh, it's cool." Yeah, no, we love to hear that, and it's cool to like kind of have that punk rock, like we're taking it back approach, because a lot of people want to use it in the disrespectful way, and it's really cool to kind of see this new. We're not in any way goth, but there's this like it's like a hashtag. It's like Christian goths I've been seeing a lot on TikTok, and it's the old Eastern Orthodox Catholic imagery, and it's like it's literal Gothic, and they're like we're owning it and they don't look at all Christian, I'm like, me too, just in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I guess I'll for our listeners who don't know the story yet, church tradition holds that, Saint Peter was crucified upside down because he didn't count himself worthy to be crucified in the same manner as Jesus. So
And
just throwing that out real quick
you
for
can
people.
get the short form of the story in their song Stigmata, though.
Yeah. So check out the song. But anyway, I love it. And obviously you guys got levels upon levels in your thoughts. So
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the other creative process then, because it's one thing to be a singer, right? Or screamer, as you put it, but to write music, especially passionate music like metalcore is. Can you walk us through the creative process there, inspirations and whatnot?
Yeah.
Man, that is a dense question. I mean, that's just kind of the bulk of it. Like, it's like endless opportunities. Like, I stress out writing lyrics so much, and there's so many different creative angles that we take. I've gone on record a lot talking about some of the like interview-based songs that I like to write, where it's more or less like journalism, where I'm asking someone about an experience. You mentioned Metanoia earlier. That was one of those songs. I had met up with um a longtime bully of mine. I was like a little kid and I would skate with these older boys and they would beat me up and bully me. And eventually I went off on my own direction and I hadn't seen him in, God, 20 plus years. And we had met up last year and cleared the air. He's a great guy now. And he's actually a born again Christian, which is really cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I was not expecting that at all. I was just like preparing to write like just a slam piece, like you suck and you were bad to me, like kind of cliche. But I was like, hey, I'm gonna write this song. I feel bad about the way I'm like going about it. I would you want to sit down and grab coffee and smoke a cigar? And it was crazy because he was like, like I'm a believer now and I've turned my life around and I'm like, dude, that is not what I wanted to hear at all. I was like,
You were
you're
looking for
supposed-
the villain.
you're the villain. What's going on? So yeah, I like sat, I heard his whole story, his testimony, the whole nine, and ended up rewriting the whole song. And the word metanoia is like the transformation of the mind,
Yeah.
and it can be used in a lot of different ways. But in his case, spiritually, like being reworked through God and how he sees his life and his relationship with God. And he basically wrote the song for me. Like it was really cool to like sit down and ask him questions. And he had like talked about his identity and he was like, now I am made in the image of God and it's in scripture. And I was like, I am in the image of God. I like write that down. But like, like it's really cool just to like have those experiences writing and like going the extra mile to try and add substance to it. Not every song is written the same. But I always try to have a fresh take on what it is to be a Christian, the struggles that come with it, having an opportunity to say things that you won't hear on K-Love. I keep knocking them. But having that, like, yeah, that rawness, that realness. And I think that's what people are really after these days. Like they want something real. There's so much phony facades, AI and, personas. And I think there's that, that need for something real. And that's something that we try to really bring to the table when it comes to talking about our struggles with faith itself or the stillness of God or, like things that a non-Christian wouldn't think we would experience or be so willing to share, like you were sharing about, the loss of your twins you were talking about and you were honest about it, you're real about it. Like that's refreshing, and it's not like, like I'm spiraling out here, but it's like, that's not what you would expect. And it's a fresh take. And being in the metal scene, we have an opportunity to share maybe some darker angles of it. And
Absolutely.
I love doing that. I'm passionate about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think and really and truly, I think that's what, those of us who like that metalcore, that there's a thing in the culture where, yeah, like just like you said, Michael, it is raw, which means if it's raw, it's relatable, because not everybody can listen to, the more polished stuff and be like, oh, that's me, because a lot of it is framed in a very idealistic way. And there's a place for that. I'll say there's a place for that, for sure. We should be thinking about the ideals as well. But man, when a song hits you and it's like, that's what I'm going through. I mean, it's encouraging, in its own way. So, but yeah, so on the vocal side, creatively on the vocal side as a singer, I know, a lot of our audience won't, realize the, as an artist, as a screamer, as a vocalist, it's a different style. It's a different technique. It has different textures. And a lot of people write off the style of music like, oh, they're just, rah, 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 and like they don't think it. It's like when you
how'd that go again?
Rah, 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 that's me. That's the extent of my vocal range right there. But it's like I tell people, it's like when you see Picasso and you don't know what you're looking at, and you're like, Cubism sucks. A kid could do this. It's just like squares. I'm like, okay, no, you don't get it. And I think metalcore vocal has that, like, it's got things that most people don't get because they don't understand the process and what it is actually being, conveyed in that style of vocal. So is there anything you want to speak to along those lines as an artist, specifically as a screamer? Any vocalists in that style that inspired you? Because you have I'll say this, you have a very unique, to me, to the connoisseurs, you have a signature sound in your vocal. Like it doesn't sound like everybody else's, extraneous vocal. It has its own texture and it has its own place. And so I'm just as a fan of the music, as a fan of the style, I'm just curious if there's anything that has inspired you specifically in the way that you do it, or was it just always that way when you found out that you could do it? What do you think?
Yeah, I really appreciate you saying that and noticing.
Oh, dude, yeah.
my parents will do the same thing. They're, oh, you just, and I'm like, no, there's techniques and there's, like it's all taste. No, I used to literally just scream, like scream, like getting in a fight with somebody in a parking lot, like shouting. And, I guess I didn't really understand what the technique at the time, but I had been using it for close to almost 20 years up until I really had to sit down and pay attention to what am I really doing and how do I sustain it without throwing out my voice, because that's exactly what I would do. Every song on some of these older albums, every night on the road pre-2020, it was me throwing out my voice because it was just raw passion and anger and aggression and passion and so forth. But yeah, now that I've gotten older, and especially since I went out and filled in for August Burns Red, that was my reckoning. I was like, okay, it's time to really take this serious on a professional level. And yeah, there's so much that goes into it. I teach screaming now for a living outside of convictions, and
that's awesome.
It's something I'm super passionate about, and I'm constantly trying to learn more about and expand on. It can be as technical as balancing on a tightrope, or it can be as primal as waking up or coming home from a long day at work and letting out a big sigh. I catch people using a solid technique called false chords. I hear it every day, and it frustrates me because I think I'm special, or I think I have something that is so unique. But I'll see my mom, and she'll go, "Oh, it's been so long since I've seen you," and she goes, "Oh," and I'm like, "You're so close to," but I'm like, "You're right there." You know what I mean? So
that's great.
It's frustrating. Or hearing a baby cry, perfect fry. I'm like, you're just a baby and you're doing it right, and you're not. A baby won't lose its voice because it's instinctually using this God-given tool that we all have, and it knows how to do it, but it doesn't know what it's doing. So yeah, there's so much to think about and unpack. But yeah, I'm deeply passionate about it, and I love talking about it. So I could nerd out on you if you want.
So my nerd out on it. So my musical tastes are very eclectic, but what I've learned over time is the genres that I love and appreciate come from deep emotional places, right? So,
Yeah.
a couple years ago, David and I took our wives to go see, well, no, Handel's Messiah. I went to that this year, but that's different.
It's Mozart, wasn't
Yeah, it was Mozart's Requiem,
Yeah.
and so you have you had an ensemble of singers up there. We'll just say it that way, right? And what I appreciate about the operatic singer is you can see that their whole body is the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And I always joke with him every time it's classical music or opera. I'm like, this was metal before metal had electricity to become
Yeah.
metal, because
True, man.
it's you listen to some heavy classical, right? Like
Right.
Mozart and stuff like that, and you go, dude, those guys were writing metal before, but what it is, they were writing from a deep emotional place,
Yeah.
a real and raw place, just like you were talking about in your process. And with singing specifically, that you watch an opera singer, like, sure, you probably don't like opera, but watch an opera singer and they're like completely in it, and then you think about what your style is and how you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're the same thing, just a different branding of the music, right? Of the vocals. And that's what, I'm all over the map with my musical taste. If you got in the car with me, you'd be like, and iTunes was just like on random, be like,
It's true.
dude.
Yeah.
Eclectic.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I don't know if I could only listen to metal. No, I definitely resonate with that, especially like when you're talking about opera, like the diaphragm support and control, the use of air, and like I'm locked in. That stuff's super interesting, and I feel like if you want to get better as a screamer, you need to pay attention to the traditional singing and what people have been doing for thousands of years now. Like uh there's a technique called fry that I specialize in both false chord and fry for you screamer nerds, but fry is using your true voice. So earlier when I was talking about this false chord, that sigh, it's Cookie Monster. You're using your breath
Yes.
Yes.
to project the sound, and it's a blast of air basically that you're using technique to make sound the way it does. Well,
Yeah.
fry is voice projected, so your true voice is the real vehicle, and you have to learn about your head voice, your chest voice, and having true diaphragm support, and then the different levels of support that come with that open up the vocal folds that allow certain sounds. So like when I'm on stage, it's like it's so hard not to get wrapped up in the emotions of what you're singing about and the performance of it, but a lot of it is like locking in now to like special techniques and hitting them and breathing at the right time, and it's like jazz. It's just all over the place.
Yeah. Well, it's more work than most people probably, the casual viewer or listener probably understand. And then you put in there all of the timing of your breathing and of the music itself and your lyrics, and then try to be entertaining on stage on top of that, because we've seen you don't exactly just stand there at the mic like a sheepish little boy, right? You're going.
No, that's the first thing I have to like teach some of my newer students is like you can't like fully like I don't want to like ruin the experience of like going to a show or seeing us, but there is a certain theatrical element to it where internally I'm focused on all these different techniques, but on the outside it's performance. It's you emote and you put your body into it. But if you lose that control or that awareness, and it's fully raw emotions, and you really start yelling and spitting and crying and all these things that the songs will draw out of you, you're only going to last like 5 minutes. So it's this crazy balancing act we're constantly doing. A lot of thoughts go into it, and you kind of have to just trust yourself and go for it.
And I'm going to go right back to opera. Okay. Obviously we're not Catholics. I took my wife to a show years ago. This huge world-renowned orchestra comes to town, and they have these world-class opera singers with them, and all this stuff is really cool. We were the youngest people there by like 150 years that weren't on stage. But they had this girl who at the time, I think she was 17, Marussia. If you're into opera, you can go look up Marussia. She's an Australian lady. She was like 17 at the time. She comes up to sing Ave Maria. Okay, like Ave
Classic.
Maria to me is
Right,
not
sure.
a spiritual experience,
Right.
whatever. That lady got up there and sold every bit of the emotion visually while nailing the note. But like you're saying, I guarantee in her mind, all of her breathing and timing and technique are all in there, but selling the theatrics of the moment, dude. And I'm like halfway in tears watching them, just like, whoa.
Yeah.
But that's that same vibe I get from watching guys like you, Michael, is just like you're performing, but to understand that internal battle of there's emotion to this song and it can get me worked up, but oh my gosh, I got to think about my breathing and my timing here and make sure I'm hearing everything going on around me. And am I still entertaining everybody? Dude,
That's just it. Yeah. Because there's a whole showmanship of it too. And there's a whole art to that too, where it's holding attention and checking all these boxes and are people safe? Are people watching? Are they interested? Are they listening? All that. Like it's so overwhelming.
did that guy that
But
just
it's
jumped off the speaker stack die, or is he good? Okay, we can keep singing. Or I've
it's
got
fun.
a clip, and I'm going to add it to the beginning of the show. It's going to be our cold open, if you don't mind. It's from my cell phone, so I don't know if you can do anything about it. But from you guys, I think it would have been your first song, just a little like 30-second shot.
Yeah, the end is nigh.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, dude. I was looking through my videos. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make sure I can throw that on the beginning there.
I think that, yeah, I opened that. I was opening the set with like a 30-second long scream or more. And it was just so over the top, but it was cool to see people like, whoa.
Yeah. That's how you win them over. I do want to ask you about one song, though, that when I say I have favorites, I have lots of favorites of my favorite bands. But talking about, and we'll go kind of serious again for a moment, I'm sure, Buried in Thorns.
Okay.
Dude, that one seems like it's coming from a really dark and deep place.
Yeah.
Is that personal, or is that?
It's not my story.
Sure.
But yeah, it's domestic violence, sexual abuse within a family. Yeah, true story.
Okay, yeah, that one's got to be kind of hard. I mean, but when I say personal, I mean not you specifically, but someone close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So performing that, is that one of those ones that you're really walking that tightrope of emotional balance, or?
It just depends. Especially like if someone like says something before we go on and they're like, hey, like this song XYZ, and then we go and play it and I can see them. Oh my gosh. But
Yeah.
it really just depends. I resonate strongly with our song The Price of Grace because it deals with suicide. And earlier, I was telling you I had struggled with that long ago, and it seems like every night on the road we meet somebody that's going through something or may be going through something, and you can kind of pick up on it. That can be difficult, but it's more like just being emotionally aware because it's like getting sucked up into the music. I could be really emotional and teary-eyed, or I could just be so red and angry because to me it's such an outlet, this music and screaming. It's like all the anger I've ever had just spills out at once in a good way. And it's like I don't want to be, I don't know, insensitive or unaware of my surroundings. So yeah, like certain songs like that you gotta pay attention and be aware, I guess.
Price of Grace is probably my favorite track. That song hits.
Yeah. There's that whole album's got a lot of really difficult ones. Hurts Like Hell. We wrote that about Zach's father passing away, and how Zach's father was a drummer, and so was Zach, and he's like carrying on this legacy and remembering him. And like there'll be certain nights where like I'll be playing that song. I enjoy playing it. It's fun. And I'll turn around and I'll put my foot up on the riser or grab a water, and I see Zach, and I could just feel it, or if I'm not seeing it, I can feel it, or I can see him looking up, or
Tears splashing off the snare.
yeah, it's tough, man. There's on our photographer who we bring out, his mother recently passed away unexpectedly. It was very traumatic, and our hearts deeply go out to him. Certain songs, I could see him struggling with it and choking up, and that's your boy. And you're like, gosh, this is a lot harder than it needs. Like, you would think it'd be.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I got to think about my technique. I'm like, oh, hold on. So it's like,
Rein in the thoughts,
But-
rein in the thoughts.
yeah, but I don't know. I think that's like kind of where God comes in, and I really like lean in that. Like, I do feel like God's looking out. There's been so many shows where in the past where I blew out my voice or some crazy difficult circumstances happen, and God's carried us through, whether it was breaking down on the side of the road, getting in a car accident, everything that happened on the Demon Hunter tour we talked about. Like,
Yeah.
it's like without God, I don't know how a lot of this would even be possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's awesome too how we see God working in all the spaces in between the things that we think, oh, this is what I'm doing for God,
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is me, like Michael is a singer, and so but everyone has their own gifts and callings and things that we can latch onto and be like, oh, this is the thing that I do for God, and those are great, but then so many times it's all the little spaces in between where He's like, okay. He makes you, he causes you to meet somebody or share a word of encouragement or, all the little stuff in between that fills in all the gaps in our life where we get so fixated on this is what I do. And God's like, I'm literally in all of it.
I'm everywhere.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not off duty or anything.
And it's a reminder to us, man, like, we aren't either, but yeah, He's good. And He just uses us in each and every way, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's awesome.
And okay, so let's talk through upcoming tour. Starts March 18th with Wolves at the Gate and Heal the Hurt. Is Heal the Hurt with you the whole time? Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Well, no, Cultist comes with you. Oh, you switch up and join the Demon Hunter tour at that point. That's right.
Yeah, we're like later dudes. We're no.
Yeah.
we had other arrangement. Yeah, we had another tour. But yeah, I'm stoked to be going back out with those guys. I'm super close friends with both those bands and Cultists. Yeah, we're really looking forward to that. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Tickets are selling quick, so if you want to come, let me know.
Yeah, and I remembered to hang up when you told me about both.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we both have.
I got my tickets.
Yeah. All right. Well, we may have to.
Me and two of my boys. So
okay,
they were with us last fall when we saw you with Demon Hunter. So this will be their second time seeing you as well. So we're stoked.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, so if I don't catch you, then I'll get you April 25th then because you're in Kansas City. At the Warehouse on Broadway. I've not been to that one either. Okay. But that's Demon Hunter and Cultist then. But yeah, guys, get on convictionsrock.com or get on their social media. Go check out the tour, check out their music if you haven't. Even if you're not, if you're not into the screaming heavy metalcore stuff like us,
check them out.
Just check them out anyway.
Yes.
It's best go read the lyrics, man, because the lyrics will hit without the music too. So
yes.
We also have pretty songs.
Yeah, pretty songs. Yeah. Who does your pretty vocals?
That's our guitar player. He sings too. His name is Quentin.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, you don't do the pretty stuff at all?
Not yet.
So some would say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? Some would say the screaming that you do is beautiful. It's the pretty stuff.
Thank you.
Not your mom, though, apparently. But so we'll be praying for you guys as you go out on tour, man, because I think it's an incredible opportunity you guys have in a unique ministry that doesn't necessarily get labeled ministry, right? It's not church proper. You're not in the four walls. You're out there pretty much in the streets, right? Like, I mean, you're meeting people that are in need of Jesus, just like all of us. But so we'll be praying that, man, you guys will be fruitful out on this tour season and safe, and vans won't break down and equipment stays and voices stay, of course. But man, that you'll be fruitful above all of that stuff. But any parting thoughts or shots or anything you got for us?
Thank you. I appreciate your time and having the platform to share what I do and being welcomed onto your show. This really means a lot, and I'm grateful.
Man, we're grateful that you came on here, Michael. This is really cool for us because we get to be kind of fanboy and, you know, amateur podcasters like we are.
We're all figuring it out.
Yeah, that's cool. But man, sounds like we'll see you sometime in the next 2 months here for sure. And hopefully we can grab you at the merch table, and hopefully you're not in a...
I'll definitely be looking for you on March 18th, Michael. I'll find you here.
Let's get together.
Yeah, guaranteed. I'll find you.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you as always for listening. DeformedTheologyShow.com. You can find all of our stuff. We'll have links to Michael's stuff on there and on YouTube with our stuff. Go check it out. We appreciate you. But as always, may the peace and the grace of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, go with you guys. And we'll see you next time.
The fear of God.